All right, here we go. We're diving in head first. Welcome to Aired Out. We're live from Fly on the Wall Productions on North Main Street in Barrie. I'm JD Green. Pleasure to have you with us. Cloudy skies and 42 right now, but it is going to be improving. We've got some sunshine on the way. This is day number, 4 now of the week with the kids off from school. So I will be driving the Lily bus today and having so much fun, and I look forward to it so much. It is the 27th, and I have with me right now Susan Loynd, who is... Now, what's your official title over at Washington County Mental Health? Are you HR director?
I am, yeah, among other things, yeah.
All right.
I have, it's a nonprofit, so I have multiple job titles.
Oh,
yeah.
Absolutely.
You know how that goes. So.
Welcome to Aired Out. Yeah, I'm thrilled to have you here. This is great. You guys are a sponsor of ours. You have been for a long time, and flat out, we just love Washington County Mental Health. And I think Raylene and I have actually we've actually had to I think some kick from our friends for talking about Washington County mental health too much on the air.
That's not possible.
Is that accurate?
You can never say too many good things about us.
Well, there's so much to talk about. I mean, you guys can't just be put in a box.
Right.
Heather's on here all the time. We just had Mary Moulton on, the executive director. We've had Mike Oopman on. We had Moselle and Dan on just a few weeks ago, recruiters. Washington County mental health is everywhere, doing everything. And we see the job applications up at the Berlin Mall, in the kiosk up there, everywhere.
That's good. That's what we're going for.
Everyone's doing their job. There are, as Mary was strongly implying, there are many opportunities.
Yes.
And I think she preferred to say opportunities over openings.
Yes.
Because they're career opportunities. They're life-changing opportunities.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. One of the things we're working on is to develop career paths so that people can kind of come in. Many of our openings are at the entry-level positions, and the idea is to grow people into the organization so that they can move up and really make a difference in their own lives as well as the clients that we serve.
Sure.
Yeah.
There was just an employee appreciation event not too long ago for I think it was CDS, I think, where there's just people that have been there forever.
Oh, yeah. 30 years.
Yeah, 25, 30 years easily.
Yeah.
They get in, they work for a great company that's been around since, 55 years now.
Yeah, yep.
They don't want to leave.
That's good. We need that help.
They're taken care of well, and really, Washington County Mental Health has become who they are, and they have kind of become Washington County Mental Health. These people that I know, they embody what they do. There's so much passion behind it. And they get up and they begin every day with what they're going to do to make a difference in the lives of so many people.
Yes, exactly. Well said.
Yeah, we also say, and we have said many times, if somebody comes into town and says, "Hey, I'm trying to find Washington County Mental Health," good freaking luck, because there's so many different buildings all over the place.
Right, Yeah, and we're intentionally embedded in the community, which is interesting. So there was a big debate several years ago. One of the other designated agencies built kind of a campus, a big several $million building.
Right.
And people, they got pushback because really our goal is to be not invisible, but to be embedded within the community where people are living.
Right.
So we have multiple buildings. We have 34 buildings here in central Vermont.
Sure. And
so really to be a part of that community literally and not be on a campus-based thing on the way out of town type thing. So
mental health, is way up. If you go up 40,000 feet, frankly, that's not high enough. To look down on mental health. There's all different ages and sectors and everything that encompasses that. There's the elderly. There's folks with developmental disabilities. There's folks that are working, functioning, and doing well in their culture in their society, but need some assistance and some mentorship, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Right, and that's one of the things we pride ourselves on. We serve the whole spectrum of people, literally from cradle to grave. We have daycare for newborns and atypical and so-called typical kids, if there is such a thing,
Sure.
All the way up through our elder care program. So we really serve the whole cycle of life, and that's why we have so many different programs and people doing different things running around the community.
Mary Moulton and I the other day were saying, it's in some ways it seems like when we get talking about this and mental health and how to keep check of it and take care of yourself. I mean, Wellness Wednesday right here on Summer Street is something that we bang the drum on constantly. But we often forget, it seems, that we might forget sometimes about the kiddos and mental health on children. They're getting dragged through this crazy world, even pre-pandemic. The world's a little nuts right now. I mean,
yeah.
But throw the pandemic in the mix and how they're getting through life, how they're flourishing. I mean, not just the school year, but also during the summertime.
Right. Yeah, we're seeing, I mean, you've probably read the studies that kids are losing 18 months to 2 years of their educational context because of the pandemic, and also just all those socialization skills that we take for granted being in the classroom. Now kids are getting back into the classroom, but there's that, that disconnect from not having been with their peers.
Right.
And we're seeing that, frankly, in the workforce, where a lot of folks were working remotely, and now they come back in, and it's awkward, and it's kind of starting over and rebuilding that trust in those relationships with your coworkers and your colleagues.
Sure.
It's been interesting.
Yeah, I mean, my little girl was in kindergarten when masks were mandatory. So, the first year of being in a school setting, everyone had a mask on, so you couldn't see facial reactions and connecting with people. How are they feeling? Are they happy? Are they frustrated? Are they sad? She just had to read eyes like so many other kids did.
And then later on being maybe autistic or having other, emotional behavioral concerns or challenges or trauma within the family.
Sure.
Now you're sending kids home to their family often,
Sure.
and the family might be a trigger for them, might be something that's stressful.
Sure.
And it just sort of compounds some of the issues that we're seeing. And
I don't know how old you are, but when I was in elementary school, if you were a troubled child for whatever reason, what was going on in life, you were kind of dealt with differently, and in many cases, if the system, for a lack of a better term, gave up on you, you were just kind of tossed out and set free into the world. Now we have this Choice Academy, which brings kids into, maybe pulls them out of a mainstream setting, but gives them attention and focus and ultimately learning in a different setting that's more adaptive to them.
Right, exactly. And they're actually a chartered school through the Department of Education,
Amazing.
the Agency of Education. And so you're taking kids that weren't thriving in the public school system for whatever reason, a whole host of reasons, and putting them in a school system that meets all of their needs. So they may have individual tutoring or working with our staff that not only are teachers, but have that ability to work with kids that are struggling with mental health or other, behavioral concerns. And, they have a graduation.
I know they do.
And it's,
it's a big deal.
It's a big deal for some of these kids because they've had a lot to overcome, and to see these kids, happy, being successful, graduating, going on to find work and a place in their community and feel good about themselves and what they've achieved. It's really, it's pretty inspiring.
You have to be a BI, a behavioral interventionist. You've got to have some thick skin.
Yes. Definitely. We do pretty extensive training on how to keep safe and how to keep the kids safe. But yeah, a lot of these kids have significant attachment disorders or oppositional defiant disorders, and they've had some struggles. And so, it's really tough work. I am so impressed at our behavioral interventionists that they have that thick skin and that
Thank
they have
God
this.
for them.
Yeah, I mean, they're really changing lives. I mean, literally changing lives.
Yeah.
And that's a good point to make a plug. That is a position that we are always hiring for because we have individual school-based contracts out.
Mm-hmm.
So we call it school-based services in the public school system.
That's right.
Where we're in the classroom with the kiddo, kind of one-on-one, making sure everybody's safe. And then we also have, as you said, Choice Academy, and then we have folks that work in our residential programs.
Yes.
And they're also BIs because they're in our homes that we own with the kids, but taking the kids to school, making sure they're successful. So we have hundreds of behavioral interventionists kind of running around the countryside, and we're always looking for folks in that role. And that's a great entry into Washington County because there's a lot of support, there's a lot of training. You're literally changing lives. And if you then complete your degree, we have case management type of roles that you can move up into where
Sure.
where you're working with families and
Huge
kiddos.
need there too.
And so our children's division is our largest division, and they are constantly hiring because it's a tough job, as you said, so the turnover is pretty significant at that entry-level behavioral interventionist type role.
Yeah.
So we're really trying to grow our own into those higher-level roles.
If you're going to shed a tear because someone says that your hair looks horrible or that you're short, this is not the job for you.
Nor is HR, I would just add.
Wow.
No one ever calls me to say, hey, you got my check right. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. And kudos to Mike Ootman,
Oh, yes.
your counterpart.
Shout out to Mike.
Great guy.
Mike's amazing. We often say when Mike gets off a call, bless you, Mike. The patience, the man is a saint.
Sure.
Whether somebody's calling to change their address or they forgot to put in their overtime or whatever it is, he has that same approach.
Yeah.
Whether you're dealing with a client,
Right.
we employ many of our clients who struggle with the system, not
Sure.
even us,
Sure.
but just, I struggle with the system sometimes, the payroll system.
Yeah.
He has the patience of a saint. He will walk people through what they need to do, always with a smile, and
Not once, but several times.
several times, same person several times.
I'm guessing that you at 5:00, you guys aren't punching out and disappearing from the planet.
No.
You're still on the radar.
It's a 24/7
Yeah.
kind of job in HR because there's just so many different components to it, And
What do you have? 4 or 5 cell phones?
No, I just have one that blows up a lot. But yeah, it's our job. I see us as customer support in HR. Really, we are living vicariously often through those folks that are doing all that hard work.
You bet.
If we can make their job easier,
Sure.
I think about people that need to take leaves. We
Sure.
often see people, just like our clients, we often sometimes see people not at their best.
Sure, right.
Right? People are ill or they have a family member that's ill, or in COVID we had a lot of folks that were really struggling emotionally, physically, or they had parents or loved ones that were ill. So really our job is to make sure they can do their job.
Yeah.
That's really kind of what it comes down to from an HR perspective.
I say this, anyone watching, listening, if you're thinking, oh, yeah, that's Washington County Mental Health, that's not for me, blah, blah, blah. I'm not a people person, whatever. Look at these guys, these unsung heroes over in IT.
Yeah.
Just that alone.
Mm-hmm.
They're not doing all of the things that someone in CDS would be doing.
Yeah.
But man, they're driving the bus.
They're keeping things going, making sure everything talks to each other.
But they don't. But there's just stereotypes here. Oh, I work for Washington County Mental Health. Oh, you must work with people. In the society, in the culture, community is what I'm trying to say. Not necessarily. These guys are, as I said, unsung heroes.
Behind
they're over
the
in
scenes, under a desk somewhere.
They're in the
plugging
admin
things
building. They're keeping everyone connected and keeping everything running. And frankly, they're geeks, and they're very good at it.
So I I supervise IT, so I'll let them know you said that.
Please.
Scott Adams, our IT director,
Yes.
is, again, another person that's amazing, has a great sense of humor, is willing to just roll up his sleeves, like our electronic medical record package.
Sure.
People ran screaming when we introduced that, and
Yeah.
he just stayed with it. He's been helping us with our new payroll system.
The new payroll system. Sure.
And if I could just put in a plug.
That was fun, wasn't it?
Oh, my. If I could just put in a plug, speaking of people behind the scenes, we have positions available in our administrative offices. So when I was hearing you say, like, people person, I don't care if you're a people person. Come be an accountant.
Exactly.
I mean, no offense to the accounting department.
No.
Who is down the hall, and they're going to say, "What
Sure.
are you
What are you talking about?"
We have an upcoming opening in HR, and so we would love people to come and help us behind the scenes, help our staff. So we're going to have a compensation and benefits opening in the next couple of weeks, and we have a staff accounting opening. So even if you're in more administrative type roles or in the private sector, if you want an opportunity to actually give back to your community and make a difference, I would encourage you to go to our website and look at we have the career page separated by division. So we have an administrative division, and we have all the different children's and community developmental services and some of those other divisions. So you don't have to necessarily be at CDS,
Right.
at the mall walking with people. We have literally, I don't know, last time I checked, we had something like 140 job openings.
Wow.
Job opportunities.
Opportunities.
Mary Moulton. Opportunities. Everything's an opportunity.
Yeah.
Yes.
And look at that admin building. I mean, it's beautiful, high tech. I mean, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, and we have the good stuff because IT's in there, so our servers our connectivity is a little bit quicker.
And I want to tip the hat to Shane over there in IT too.
Yeah.
He's such a great guy.
Also, like, nicest person on the planet. He's a lot like Mike.
Have you heard him play guitar?
No, I hear
What? You have not heard him play the guitar?
All right,
sing?
Shane. Shout out to Shane. Come serenade us.
You must. Please promise me
All right.
you're going to tell him to
will.
bring his guitar to work someday. It has to happen. It's one of the biggest secrets. It's one of the biggest secrets.
What's his genre? What does he play?
Just new progressive stuff, newer stuff, 90s.
Okay.
90s when he was born.
Okay.
He's very good.
All right.
That's an understatement.
Well, maybe, sometimes we sit out back and have lunch. I'll tell him to come.
Tell him you heard
Play me a
about
tune.
it. Tell him there's a rumor flying around that he's an incredible singer. Yeah. But it's just great camaraderie in that building.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. And if somebody needs help, it's all literally a big family. Mm-hmm. I mean, you just hop on. Look at the email system alone. Hey, I got a situation, blah, blah, blah. Can someone help out? Respite this weekend. We need it, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, and shout out to Mary Moulton, who, at the helm, really just incredible. Understands her community, understands the community needs, and jumps in to help however possible. So she really sets the tone of giving back to the community and making a difference.
People walk through this world thinking quickly, easily, how much? That's just how many of us are. If I work for Washington County mental health, what am I going to make? How much? What am I worth? What's the job pay? It pays. I'll say this: no matter what sector you're in, it pays well. You guys pay well.
We really spent a lot of time last July, and you might recall some of this happening. We restructured our entire compensation system to try to be more competitive.
Yeah, last summer,
and we spent a lot of time looking at what the market would bear, what we were currently paying, and we were able to figure out how do we come closer. So you kind of do this statistical analysis where you figure out what is the midpoint of the market, and then you set that as the middle of your pay scale. So if the market were $16 to $20 an hour, the midpoint is 18. So that's kind of what you're shooting for. And then you decide those upper and lower bounds. So you're trying to figure out if the market will bear 18, that's the middle of the market. We want to at least be in the hunt, Yes. So we're trying to figure out if this is the midpoint, how close can we get to that midpoint? And Washington County and our board of directors actually approved us to try to get to at least 85% of the midpoint of that market. And in some positions, we were able to get all the way to 100%. And we had to prioritize what are the jobs that are the most critical to fill, which are the ones that we have public safety issues or concerns that we need to fill because to fulfill our contracts and our funding and those kinds of things. And Heidi Hall, our CFO, and I worked together last summer and really built out this system, and we're able to move people so that our base rate for the entry-level position is now, I think, $17.74 starting pay, and we built out a broadbanded system with ranges so that people, this is the next phase of the project. So if I get hired and I have a high school degree, entry-level work, and I'm making, say, $17.74, $18 an hour, how do I move up? So if I get a promotion, of course I'm moving up, but can I finish my degree? Can I go to college? Can I take courses? Can I look at some of the courses we're offering internally through our learning management system? So we've built out a step system. And the idea is we're trying to figure out how to fund moving people along, whether it's laterally or vertically throughout our system. And so each position is slotted. So to your question of what's in it for me, the range, our very entry-level position is that $17.74. If you work in residentials and you're working with high acuity clients or in crisis roles, that's a little bit higher on the scale, so it's $18.84 or something. We have our behavioral interventionists, which are funded through a completely different mechanism, and so we're able to pay them at $22.41 as the starting rate to work with kids in the school system or in Choice Academy. And so we have this whole breadth of positions where people can move along this continuum and earn more money. And the other piece that I always like to tell folks is that our benefit package, we're really proud of it. We've worked really, really hard. We are self-funded for health insurance, and so the agency has committed to paying I think it's 88 or 90% of the premium on behalf of the employees. So that's incredible in our world, and it's you get to choose. We revamped that a couple years ago too. So if you're a young person, I think about my daughter who's in her 20s, and you're relatively healthy, you might take that high deductible plan where your premiums are really low and you have a big deductible that you have to meet. And then we have two other plans for people more like me that are like, well, I probably need better coverage because I'm older or might have things that are going on. So people can choose from three different plans.
Yep.
And as you know, I think generous time off. So we start everybody with 12 days of vacation and 12 days of sick and 12 and a half days of holiday. So 36 days, of time off in a year, and very family friendly, and we allowing people to meet the needs of their family at the same time. So we think we have a pretty good package when you put it all together.
Yeah, serving. What's the what's the scope of how far?
The
Washington
catchment
County?
area?
Yeah.
So Washington County, and then we dabble in other counties when we ask for help. So we're in Orange. We do some work with Clara Martin's County, so Orange, and some places outside of our county when called upon, I would say.
Yep.
But basically, Washington County is our home turf, and then we often will have clients that are transitioning, say from Howard Center up in Burlington down to us, and so we go where we're asked, pretty much.
The best way to find out about some of the services that you have and opportunities is really you should begin with the web. Go there.
Yes, the website www.wcmhs.org.
Yes,
we're quite active on Indeed. We post many of our job openings on Indeed. But if you go to the website, that's sort of your single point of contact, your entry point.
Right.
Because if you go to the website and you click on careers, that is connected into Indeed and Glassdoor and some of our other partners that we have.
Vermont Care Partners.
Vermont Care Partners lists us as a designated agency on their site too.
Yeah.
So if you went to Vermont Care Partners and clicked on Washington County, it would bring you back in sort of through the back door. And Heather Slayton, who you know well, has really done a good job posting on Facebook. So
Good
upcoming.
job. Did you say good?
I did.
Good job? That's it? She's amazing. I'm sorry, I'm just having fun.
That's
with
okay.
it.
So she's
Incredible.
We've tried to a little bit divide and conquer in that Heather is really focused on community events and the Wellness Wednesday, and then our team in HR are much more focused on career fairs and going out into the community and the different colleges and whatnot. So
I love the fact that, frankly, in Raylene and I said this when you guys partnered up with us, that there is, frankly, never going to be a loss of things to talk about with what you guys are doing. It's not just careers. I mean, we're always talking about Wellness Wednesday, of course. We've got a big crock pot cook-off.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
This is coming up on Sunday.
Now, is that chili or anything that goes in a crock pot? What's the deal with that?
I say anything that goes in a crock
anything
pot.
that fits.
That's what
Whatever
I say.
fits. I did see that email. I was like, I wonder what that's about.
This, I think is Heather not the brainchild of this?
She is.
I think
She's
she is.
the Snoozelen Imagination Station goddess. Yeah, guru.
I was going to say guru.
Yeah, that's
All right.
it. That works too. Yeah.
But she's created this crockpot cook-off. It is this coming Sunday at 579 South Berry Road, which is your admin building.
No, that's our children's building, which is next door to ours. We're at 885. But yes, we're on the same road.
All right. The old Formula Ford.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Which is an easy. Raylene says that.
Yeah.
This coming Sunday starts at 11. Big 50-50
Oh, no, wait. I'm seeing that there's categories there, JD.
Yes.
No, I was asking you what goes in the crock pot.
I'm saying anything does.
No, but I mean chili, meat, vegetarian, or
Yes.
dessert. Now, what the heck kind of dessert goes into a crock pot?
Hang on a second. There's
Like a fondue or something?
No, you can make cake, but bread pudding.
bread pudding,
Bread pudding.
rice
Okay.
pudding, rice
right.
pudding.
All right.
The list goes on. And there's also a category for the youngins too.
I like
so,
that.
For the
Yeah.
kids. So I mean, great
That's cool.
fundraiser. And this Snoozelen room. We I might even say we almost talk about it every single day.
You probably do.
On the air because we love it so much. But it not funded from the state, funded from the people that live in this community.
Yes, and it was originally funded, as you recall, probably from the Autism Puzzle Foundation.
Yep.
They gave us the money to renovate the space in one
Yeah.
of our buildings, and that's a great example of the partnerships that we have with
Lamberti's.
Yeah, where people just come in and say, we have this money, make this happen. And
Sure.
then now we're just doing fundraising for kind of upkeep.
Sure, right. And new equipment and,
Yeah.
and new stuff in there.
That place is pretty cool, though.
It's unbelievable.
The first time I went in and put the weighted blanket on, and they had
You didn't wanna leave.
the celestial things on the ceiling and classical music, I felt like I was in a Pink Floyd video or something.
Of course. That's when you pick up your phone and you call Mike Ootman and say, Mike, I am really not feeling well. I need the rest of the day off.
Mike, can you put in 4 hours of sick time? I won't be back.
It's amazing. I mean, we're constantly talking about you guys. And then my family gathering place, 23 Summer Street, every third Thursday of the month. There's different programs over there for getting the community together in one room, actually physically meeting together. Of course, you can always join by Zoom too, and just having discussions about different topics. And there's different speakers that are there over on 23 Summer Street, same place as the Imagination Station.
Yeah.
And they just did one about social security disability, the options for your kiddos, how do you get started. They had a nice presentation on that. And then the next one, I think, is May 18th, guardianship and advocacy for my child. What are the options? How do I get started? It's from 5 to 6:30. It's free, and Mr. Z's donates pizza.
Nice.
I mean, this is
That's
incredible.
Except the next one is by Zoom.
The next one's by Zoom
well, how do
only?
you eat pizza via Zoom? That's what I
You know what? There's a way to do it.
the stuff.
But we love you guys. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. Everything that you do for the community and a nonprofit.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, it's tremendous.
Yep, we're definitely doing the best we can. And one of the things that I get a little frustrated about is that we're not always adequately funded to do as much as we'd really like to do. I feel like our reach could be even bigger.
Sure.
So Mary is tireless in her efforts at the legislature. So
yes, yes.
I think we do. It would be great to not have to have a bake sale to fund your payroll.
I understand. I understand.
We're not quite there yet, but it's one of those things that we're really passionate about and working on. We're filling in an application to become a certified behavioral health care center, and if we're selected, that will infuse money and pay the going rates of pay at the state and federal level. So it would allow us, again, to do a lift and bring up some of our starting rates of pay and invest in things that we currently aren't able to do, like really build out our substance use disorder system, working with vets, which is not an area that we currently have a lot of funding in. So there's a lot of unmet needs in the community. And if we can get some of these grants in, we can really, I think, do even better. Not that we're not doing a great job. But.
We hear more often than not suicide prevention. Those are two buzzwords, frankly, that we're hearing so much. Man, it's like, especially over the last year or so, we've heard it so much.
Yeah.
I see your cards, Washington County Mental Health, Suicide Prevention Hotlines.
Yep.
I see the cards all over the community. I see them everywhere.
Yeah, we actually, Karen Curley, who runs our emergency services, intensive care services, has put together a committee, and they are doing trainings called You Matter. And it's really about how to be helpful if somebody is struggling. Not that you have to be a crisis clinician, but just if you're hearing things, how do you get involved? How do you redirect people to, say, Washington County? And I think those are the kinds of trainings we'd really like to do more of out in the community. We were just asked, I don't know if you know Gary Gordon, he's on our screening team. He and I just did a community safety training up at the Family Center, and we're going to be doing another training in a couple weeks and have 100 people from all local nonprofits just learning more about how to keep themselves safe in this scary time. De-escalation skills as well as community safety. If you're going to a home visit, how do you keep yourself safe? Where do you park? What do you those kinds of things. So I think the more we can have that community outreach, I think the better reach we can have as an organization.
And I'll say this, if you're thinking about getting on Washington County Mental Health Services website, looking at some of the career opportunities, know this: you are going to be not only well taken care of and well compensated, but you're going to be well trained. There is no fooling around. You guys train like almost overtrain, which is fantastic. My gosh, everything is changing in this world.
Yeah.
You have to be on the cutting edge of all things training and learning about HIPAA and learning about technology and also learning about de-escalation and just being a human being and connecting with people.
Yep.
It's massive. And frankly, it's the foundation of any career opportunity that you're going to take with Washington County Mental Health.
Right. I think those basic skills of how to relate to people who might be in crisis and will serve you throughout your career. But also, I used to joke when my daughter was a teenager, these skills help in everyday life.
They do.
In the checkout line at Shaw's.
They do.
You can use these skills in life, and you might just make a difference walking down the streets one day. You know, if you see. So I think, speaking of which, we do have a crisis clinician open right now. And so if people have experience working with that, they do require a degree, and they do a ton of training. Our screening team, they're the folks that go out into the community. They get calls. They're a 24/7 mobile crisis team that will come out to your home if people are suicidal or homicidal, or the police need us to escort them, or they need us to come to the emergency room to see if people need to be admitted, and they do a fantastic job. And they're looking for some help on their team as well. So if people have done this work before, definitely give us a call. Check out our website
and Facebook page too.
Facebook page.
Yeah. What is this doula project about?
Doula.
Yeah.
That's a really cool thing, too, over at Summer Street. Maria Rossi is a doula, which is, it's sort of it's not quite the same as a midwife, but I think about it's supporting women having their babies, having their children. And what's, I think, really unique about that program is she's helping people who have had, maybe intimate partner violence or domestic concerns, or again, could be substance use, could be mental health challenges, and really is shepherding them throughout their pregnancy. So giving them the tools to be healthy while pregnant, and then physically being there while they give birth. We have a team of doulas that can be dispatched, when that happens. And we have a great partnership with the hospital. And so they'll go into the hospital, and then I think as important, she has course classes and drop-in sessions on the back end for new mothers, just to make sure that they're being supported, that they, are really getting the help that they need to be good new parents. I'm sure you can attest, as I certainly can. It's a bewildering time for anybody.
That's a perfect
it's
word.
It's life-changing. And if you're struggling with other issues on top of that, to be able to have those healthy coping skills and to be able to keep your kids, frankly, how do you manage all of that in a way that keeps the families together? And so, that work is just incredible. It's just hats off to Maria and her team.
I remember when Mike Hoopman was on the air here at Aired Out, and I remember very well him saying that at that particular time they had like 160 job openings, and there's a workforce crisis, if you will, that's affecting every sector everywhere across America, and we're still trying to figure out, what to do about it and why it's happening, and everyone's got an opinion on that and what's going on. But it was the conversation I had with Mike off the air that I remember more than anything, where he was telling me of examples of folks that, as a result of this workforce shortage, were connected with someone at Washington County Mental Health and able to, pardon me, get out of their home, get out of their home, get out into the community, do things, go places, have some support at their employer, go out to a restaurant, go for a hike, go kayaking, go skiing, that were not able to do this. And they were stuck literally and figuratively in their home, especially during the 13 months of winter that we have here in Vermont. And we're just not able to get out and get some fresh air, see other people, go to a movie, laugh, enjoy a restaurant. And that really bothered me, like, big time. And when you get thinking about this, and these folks that are not able to do this because there isn't a staff member from Washington County Mental Health that's available to be with them to do this, that really bugged me.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I think about kids. If we don't have support staff, they can't go to school. Now they're truant. We have to have enough staff to support these kids to work through some of the challenges that they're struggling with. And it's heartbreaking to think that a kid is not able to participate, as we were saying earlier, in those mainstream type activities because we are struggling to find staff. And so that puts us in a really tough position. And we do the kind of the shell game, moving people around. Our school-based case managers and coordinators every day are, okay, who's going out to Northfield, who's going here, what's going on? And it's a constant struggle. And yet when it works, to see the life-changing impact that you can have from people that are essentially
Huge.
almost shut-ins to get them to a place where they can go out. And ultimately the goal is for them to be able to, if it's safe, for them
Sure.
to be able to participate in the community on their own.
Sure.
And we've seen people really turn things around and be able to move into their own apartments and live productive lives, whether they're volunteering or working or whatever it is. So we see that it works is the thing, So that's the frustrating part is we know we do good work. We know we change lives. And we also know that we need everybody in the community to jump in and support us and come work with us so that we can continue to make the good difference,
We say just chat with, first of all, have a look at the website, wcmhs.org/careers, I think. But chat with someone there. Send an email. Chat with Dan or Moselle or yourself or Mike or maybe someone who works for Washington County Mental Health and say, man, it sounds like a great company to work for. I'm not sure exactly what I could do well, but I need to explore.
Yeah. So we actually have, when people apply, you can apply for a specific position, or if you don't know, we've had people that say, like, I'm an arborist, I cut down trees. And we're like, great, come on down. Hey, I have a degree in French literature. Excellent, come on down. So we have a position that's called interested in WCMHS, but not sure what. It's very long-winded.
Perfect.
So if you truly don't know, that's an option to just hit that button, attach your resume, and what that does is there's a broader group of hiring folks that see that. So we try to screen those from an HR perspective coming in. Dan and Moselle and a couple others like myself are all copied on those applications coming in. But our hiring managers might see that and say, you know what, you've worked with the public, you've done retail sales. That means you're a people person. You've done, you've worked in food service or whatever it is. And, again, many of these entry-level positions, you don't need a ton of experience. You just need to be a decent person that wants to make a difference.
That's
and we
it.
can train you up in some of the other skills, but, we're really looking for people that are kind and
Sure.
really want to learn and want to grow and want to, help some of our clients get out of their house, as you said. So, yeah.
When you walk in the doors of 23 Summer Street, you're greeted by Robin. You see a small lobby there, but what's behind the doors is startling. There's so much in that building.
Yeah.
I mean, upstairs, the Phoenix program, I think it is, right? Mm-hmm. They have a full gym up there for weight training, and there's counseling sessions up there. There's
the doula programs.
The
up
doula
there.
program.
There's some art space for people.
Look at Balin. I mean, the guy's incredible. What he does up there with acupuncture and.
Yeah. So, I mean, what I love about the well space is what we call that building.
Yeah.
Is that it's so representative of our agency because
That's right.
It literally is this mashup of everything that we do under one roof.
Yeah.
In that building, we have crisis clinicians, we have the doula program, we have people who just pop in.
Massage, sound healing.
We have all those wellness things that we do, but we actually have people working there
Recovery.
that are therapists that are working in recovery. We have our folks working with co-occurring. We're seeing families because it's easier for them to get to that building, which is another reason why we didn't want to have a campus 10 miles outside of town. We want to be on the bus lines. We want people to be able to access us. We are in your community, not the other way around.
Yes.
So that building. Really makes me smile every time I go in there because it's a great example of us working across divisions, across programs, and really having a centralized location for our clients and family members to pop in. And then you've got the Imagination Station, and they're running workshops. I know for a while we were doing workshops on cooking, so using the kitchen in the back of the building, art, journaling, and all those kinds of things. Yeah.
I can't help but wonder if the big dogs in our Vermont legislature if they are fully aware of how critical Washington County mental health is, and how much that you do. Frankly, I mean, I would just love to see some of our senators and Vermont legislators walk through the doors, and maybe they have.
They do. I was going to say, so this is where Mary comes in. She is up there. I mean, pre-COVID, even during COVID, she went up there and Zoomed in. But every legislative session, it feels like Groundhog Day because you're starting over. Hi, here we are. Here are the services that we provide. We just, at the beginning of the last session, we had people come to our building, our admin building, 885 Southbury, and we walked them through some of the vital services that we provide. And we do that each and every session, and we tirelessly advocate. And it's, they're fans, at the end of the day, they also have constraints, because we go in there, we give them our sales pitch, and then, and then the VNA or the hospital or somebody else comes along and they give them their pitch, and they have limited funding. So I understand that rationally, but from an emotional perspective, as somebody that sees the difference we make, it's hard.
You're right.
To fight that fight every single session. And again, thank goodness for Mary Moulton, because she does that. That's a key piece of what she does, is to go up there and try to get adequate funding, and also
and maybe showing them that one particular success story or happy story,
and showing them the numbers and the story, right? So that it's both. Here are the statistics,
of course,
and here's the sort of the heartstrings. And in addition to that, she's been up there advocating for policy change and changing in the laws and writing legislative pieces into statute. So one of the big things that I personally worked on for, I think, 5 years was getting funding for tuition reimbursement for people completing their bachelor's and master's because of the student debt that people take on. And loan reimbursement, loan repayment and tuition reimbursement. And we got, as a system, over $1 million that we then spread out to the different mental health agencies. So, lobbying, fighting the good fight.
That's so great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
It's a ton of work, yeah, definitely.
Wow. 55 years. And Mary pushes that Washington County mental health is all about person-centered care, just being really dialed into everyone has a story, everyone has a situation, and no two are alike. And just catering to that particular person and focusing on their story and their life, and their situation, and improving one life at a time. And that's a tall order to do that.
Yeah. We
cannot group a bunch of people together and say, all right, we all have PTSD here, and this is what we're going to do. Here's the magic wand. And every situation is different. Mm-hmm. And you guys have a lot of work to do, and you can't do it without enough staff. We need to get these positions filled here. He said there was about 140 available opportunities right now. Wow. Over 5,000 Vermonters benefit from Washington County mental health in a typical year.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. We urge people to get on the web, have a look around. And even if you're already working for Washington County mental health, look at the career opportunities, look at the advancement opportunities that are coming up.
Yeah.
Shift gears.
Yeah. We actually had this whole conversation about pushing out emails internally that say, don't be afraid to apply for another position. I think people are nervous about my supervisor's going to be mad at me.
Sure.
We want people to grow and develop. Sure. And it's actually easier in-house if you move, because we can keep you in that role until we get somebody else, and we have a lot more latitude to train people up, and we want that to happen, and then hire somebody in at more that entry level. So yes, I encourage internal staff to reach out to us, as well as people from the community.
Chatting with Susan Loynd, who is the HR director.
Sure.
HR director.
Yeah.
All right. Washington County Mental Health. Talking about a lot of the career opportunities, amazing pay, incredible benefits. You and your team are doing fantastic work. And there are so many people that are boots on the ground, unsung heroes that make up Washington County Mental Health and just make a huge difference in the lives of so many Vermonters every single day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it's amazing.
I'm exhausted just listening to you.
Well,
Whew, I need a nap.
thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks
here
for
today.
having me in.
And listen, we say this to Mary, we say this to Heather. Already knows this. These microphones belong to our community, and they belong to you guys. So if there's ever anything, for any reason, anytime that you need them, you come in here and you grab them. And
Well, thanks. That sounds great. I was thinking it might be fun to do like a testimonial, get an actual boots on the ground staff that we kind of interview about how much they enjoy their work. And
I would love to do that.
Nice.
I'm ready when you are.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds
I'm
good.
sure Heather's already sending an email right now to somebody. You guys do a great job.
Thanks so
Great
much.
job. A lot of great work. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you.